Hi, I am Axel Ritter and I'm professor at the University of La Laguna. In this presentation, I will talk about environmental restoration. The outline of this presentation is the following: the restoration process, what are degraded areas and degradation actions, the environmental impact assessment, the restoration project, the restoration approaches, which areas are subject to restoration, and the potential uses of restored areas. So, restoration is an attempt for returning a degraded ecosystem to its historic trajectory. It consists of actions that or accelerate the recovery of an ecosystem by reversing or reducing the damage suffered. Ideally, restoration seeks the returning of a normal ecosystem function to an area, and its results is expected to have also a social or economic value. An established definition is that restoration is the process of assisting the recovery of an ecosystem that has been degraded, damaged, or destroyed. Degraded areas are those subject to alteration or modification of its natural status due to either natural causes or to direct or indirect human activity. Degradation is perceived when there is a low or a negative conservation value compared to the historic trajectory of the ecosystem, or when there is an absence or an unsatisfactory function for the society. When designating degraded areas, one should take into account three items: in which aspect is degradation affecting, the degree of the degradation, and its extension. Actions causing environmental degradation are, for example, deforestation, desertification, extinction of a species, emission of chemical or other substances, and soil erosion. The environmental impact assessment is the process of identifying, predicting, evaluating, and mitigating the biophysical, social, and other relevant effects of development proposals prior to the decision-making process about actions or policies that may cause environmental effects. It is a procedure which ensures that the environmental implications of decisions are taken into account before such decisions are made. The objective of environmental impact assessment are the following: to provide information about the effects of a specific action or an unplanned event, ensuring that this information is incorporated into the decision-making process, improving public participation and information in the decision-making process, developing prevention and mitigation strategies to avoid or reduce environmental impacts, and finally, promoting the sustainable development and the preservation of the environment. The goal of the restoration project is the recovery of the essential ecological elements, and two questions should be answered on which the success or failure of the project will depend. First, what were the causes that led to the degradation? And second, how to repair this degradation. Thorough planning is required for a restoration project to be successful, and critical items are the assessment of initial conditions, setting clear and achievable goals, selection of appropriate indicators, and establishment of monitoring and evaluation actions. The main approaches that can be adopted when restoring a degraded space are represented conceptually below. This graph depicts the degree of recovery of an ecosystem structure and function from a degraded ecosystem depending on the restoration approach selected. These are the following. First, we have rehabilitation, which is an attempt to recover most of what existed in the ecosystem prior to disturbance, but not everything. It does not imply achieving the original status. Then we have restoration, which is the recovery of the initial ecosystem before degradation took place. This means exactly what existed in the ecosystem prior to the disturbance. Replacement is the replacing of the original ecosystem with another one, which represents an economic or social valid alternative. Enhancement is the activity designed for improving the ecosystem, even if the change is fairly minimal. And finally, reform or recovery is when nature is allowed to take its courses. Areas usually subject by restoration are the following: landfills, areas affected by civil works, quarries, mine sites, agricultural landscapes, conservation areas, urban areas, and riverine and wetland systems. The main potential uses of restored land are the following: nature conservation and wildlife parks, agricultural and forest use, industrial and urban use, recreational use, and sanitary environmental uses, where degraded land is used as landfills and rubbish dumps or as water reservoirs. Summarizing, we can say that the environmental impact assessment is necessary for predicting, preventing, and/or mitigating environmental degradation. Environmental restoration is an attempt for returning a degraded area back to its historic trajectory. A restored system must be able to sustain itself structurally and functionally. Different restoration approaches are available, such that a restored system may not necessarily return to its former status. A successful restoration project requires thorough project planning based on appropriate methods and ecosystem knowledge. The references used for this presentation are listed below. And further information can be found by visiting this website or by writing an email to the following address. Thank you very much for your attention.